guys, welcome back to Beccas by the Bay. Happy Sunday. So today we're going to be making gluten-free brownies. So this is Baker's unsweetened chocolate. You can use that, or you can use cocoa powder with like oil or butter as your chocolate. And then I've got olive oil, some grass-fed butter in here, and you can heat this over a double boiler, but I'm going to nuke it for about 30 seconds. And then I'll get to stirring it. I've got some pure vanilla extract with, it's alcohol free because this was from Trader Joe's. I've got some pink Himalayan sea salt. And I scored this 1 pound bag of coconut sugar from Big Lots today. So this was $3 for a pound, which is actually a really good deal. And then I've got my almond flour in here. Out of my guar / xanthan, but I scraped out what I could. Let's see. 30 more seconds, and we've got our free range eggs. I put 3 eggs in this recipe, and our sugar. And we like a lot of nuts because we don't do good with sugar. So coconut sugar is like the rare exception that we have on a special occasion, and there's not a lot in this recipe. So my choppy Tupperware thing is not quite working, so I put some pecans and walnuts in here that were already pre-soaked and re-dehydrated. So I sprouted them and dehydrated them, and now I've chopped them. So that was a minute. And then this should just mix up and melt in really good. We are working on fixing our lunch / brunch for Sunday. And figured I'd fix up a batch of gluten-free brownies. Now, I'm okay with almond flour. Millet flour is also considered gluten-free and a neutral of all 4 blood types. I'm not sure if almond flour is good for all 4 blood types, but it might be. I'd have to double check that. So you could use millet. You could use a combination of millet and almond. You could use whatever flour combination that you like or can tolerate, because we have a lot of different sensitivities and allergies here at our homestead. But almond flour is on the list, and it's working pretty good for us, so that's what we've been using. We heat this up a little bit more. So I think a total of like a minute and a half total to melt all that. And I have got crazy here. We have humidity here like you would not believe for January. I mean, it's South Texas, and this should be winter. It should be cool out. It's like 70, reaching 80 plus in humidity, and it's uber hot out right now. So let me see. Okay, I'm gonna grab a fork real quick. This is the easiest fudge recipe I know of that we've been using for years. And so I'm just gonna, as long as this is all melted, you don't want any clumpy, you don't need a mixer for this. And mine is on the fritz. So this is a good recipe if you don't have a mixer or yours is on the fritz. So like mine, sometimes it wants to work and sometimes it does not want to work. So there's all my chocolate, and I'll bring you down here. Okay, so it's super easy peasy. Pretty sure it's only, I only use half a cup of coconut sugar. I'm pretty sure the recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup to a cup, but as I said, we don't really tolerate sugar very well, so we only use a half a cup of that. And then, so that goes in there, and you're just gonna stir it in because this is the hottest part. Okay. So that's in there, and I don't have very much of this, and I probably should have grabbed some more guar / xanthan stuff. I'm sure it'll come out just fine. That wasn't very much. So I have my eggs. Now I used 3 for this recipe, and what you want to do is crack one at a time. You don't want to make scrambled eggs. There's one. And these are room temperature. 2, and then this one's the 3rd egg. Okay, so that's that. Now, I do like a little bit of salt in our brownies, probably about a little less than a half a teaspoon for us. And then about 1 capful is about a teaspoon of vanilla. And it kind of depends on how wet your mixture is. So this is 1/4, that's half. It's 3/4 cup of flour. And that all gets mixed in. And here's our nuts, our chopped nuts. Not exactly sure how much chopped nuts this is. We like a lot of nuts, so it's probably about a cup of nuts. And the extra protein helps balance out the fact that there's coconut sugar in here, so that our sugars don't get all kinds of crazy on us. So this is super quick and simple. So it's very nutty. It's just chocolate, eggs, some sugar, oil, vanilla, and sea salt. Pink Himalayan sea salt. You put your oven to 350 degrees. And I think these bake for like, I'm going to say 20 minutes is when I check them. And they're usually, when you can just poke your toothpick in there and it comes out clean, that's when it's done. So this is a little silicone muffin pan. I don't like making brownies in a pan that you have to like cut them, because this makes really nice sized brownies that pop out really easy. And if we don't eat them all today, we will freeze them and you can just eat them whenever you want. Although some people like to eat all of these up within a day or two and they're gone. If you're looking for the exact recipe, I have it available as an instant download on my Etsy shop at Beccas By The Bay. I also have a gluten-free bread recipe at Etsy at Beccas By The Bay, and I'm going to be putting up some more recipes on there for instant downloads. I haven't been able to put it all together as an ebook, so I'm trying to put my best recipes there that people have loved and wanted and been begging me for there first. That way y'all can get the yummies in your tummies. So this recipe has, if you want, very little sugar. And this makes 3, 6, 9. This makes 12 good-sized brownies. Probably like, these are probably like 2 brownie sizes each, I guess, you know. Like if you were to make this out and make fudge brownies and then cut them up, it would probably give you about, each one of these is about 2 servings. Or a giant adult size serving, because we love brownies. So I'm just trying to make sure they're all even. I thought I'd just pop on here, say hi, and give you guys a quick video. Got some rest last night, so that was good. No way to pause. Okay, that is tasty. Okay, these are going in the oven now for 20 minutes. I don't know if you guys want to stay on for 20 minutes, but if you do, we could talk about some stuff. Put that in my sink. This is here. I would love to have shown you guys some brownies that were already done, but that was my last bit of chocolate, and I didn't want to run out and get more just yet. Although I do believe the conversion for the chocolate, so if you wanted, let me go grab my cookbook real quick and I'll show you guys. If you don't have Baker's unsweetened chocolate, you can do, let's see, a quick conversion. Follow me this way. So I've got this book here. Pretty sure I have looked at it before. This is like a little 1950s cookbook by Better Homes and Garden. If you have it, I believe we got the fudge brownie recipe originally from that and we tweaked it. But it does give you a conversion, I believe, in the back. Let's see. Thermometer readings, boiling, roasting, weights and measures. I think there's something where it says, okay. So for 1 ounce, let's see. It's got some conversions in the back here. No, I thought they had something for chocolate specifically. It might just be, okay, here it is. 1 square chocolate equals 1 ounce. So the conversion for, if you don't have Baker's unsweetened cocoa, it says 3.5 tablespoons of cocoa powder and 1/2 tablespoon of butter equals 1 ounce or 1 square of chocolate. So I believe that was 2 ounces of chocolate in my recipe. So you would need 3.5 tablespoons of cocoa powder times 2. So you need 7 tablespoons of cocoa powder and 2 tablespoons of some type of butter. Or if you can't have butter, you can have ghee. If you can't have ghee, you can have some type of oil. And you mix that together, and that would equal your 1 ounce of chocolate. If that makes sense. So, I'm sorry, 2 ounces, because you'd be doubling it. So 3.5 tablespoons of cocoa and 1/2 tablespoon of some type of butter or oil or fat, and that equals 1 ounce of chocolate. So if you don't have this book, I'm sure you can get it on eBay. That's where I got mine. They have lots of them for sale. Try to look for the one that is at least, let's see. It's so old, y'all. But it's a beautiful book. It has lots of great recipes. And the recipes vary because they changed. If you go to get this plaid book now, the recipes are not what they were like when your grandma was cooking. My mom's book, I think, is 1960 or 1970-ish. And then this one was copyrighted in 1946. I wanted to see the difference between the 1950s and the 1960s and 1970s. So I bought this one. And I actually really do. I like the recipes from both. I probably should have both, but I like the recipes from this one and the 70s publication. So that was really interesting. That's a fun book. And then, so we have a little bit of time while the brownies are cooking. So I think I'll just kind of go over a little bit of what I've been doing lately. As far as I haven't had a chance to go over the blood type diet, and it's by Dr. Peter D'Adamo. And here's the book. I also have this one too. Is there another one? So just have a quick chat. We're waiting for Waylon to cook up the burgers for lunch too. So here's a book that I had gotten from my girlfriend Stephanie. She's a B positive blood type, and she's like, "You need to read this book. I've got all these health conditions," and she's like, "I think it would help you out." And I was like, "Oh wow!" I started reading it. I was like, "There's like a different diet or food plan." Way of living and eating that are more beneficial for blood types versus other blood types, which I thought was super interesting since I've always been studying about nutrition and things like that, and I didn't understand why certain foods made me gain weight more than others. They also have another book called Cook Right for Your Type by Peter D'Adamo, and it's more like recipes, which I haven't really gone into too much. I've done so many different things, and now's the time that I really want to start doing Eat Right for Your Blood Type for B positives. I took a test by them. You can also, because a lot of the foods on the blood type list there were foods that I had allergies or sensitivities to. So there was a lot of foods that I couldn't eat on the B blood type list. And I have to find it in the book specifically to go over in another video. But you can they also do one of your genotype. So basically where you came from, your mom and your dad, and your heritage from beyond makes you up, and everybody's an individual and different. So, which is awesome, but crazy if you're trying to eat for, your blood type, because sometimes if we have autoimmune issues like I do, there's probably a reason for it. Your genes were predispositioned for it, traumas or events happened, and yeah, so some genes got turned on where now I have autoimmune problems with certain things. And I'm trying to eat so that my genes turn back to, I guess, a healthier, more stable immune system. They do have a test called for Swami, SWAMI, and it tests your. I don't think I wrote it down, did I? I'm a B. Okay, I'm a B plus nomad, but I believe I'm also an explorer. They have the gatherer. There's 6 types of genetic types. There's more, but he generalized it into 6 different types. There's the hunter, I believe the gatherer, the warrior, and explorer, the teacher. There should be one more, I think. I'm missing one. The nomad. Did I get them all? I'll go over it in another one. So you can take the test, and what this does, it goes over your measurements, like cranial features, your measurements in your arms, your hips, things like that, your teeth, your dental, your fingerprints. It's pretty in depth. And so I'm a B positive nomad. I believe I'm a nomad explorer. And then they have another test called the secretor or non-secretor. And I wasn't exactly sure how that plays into the diet and things like that, but it turns out I'm a secretor. So my husband, he's a B positive blood type, but he is a non-secretor. So he comes from a totally different genetic background than me. He is Danish and German and Hispanic. I am more Irish, French Canadian, and American Indian, like the Mohegan and the Iroquois. So, and Irish. So I have a totally different genetic. So like, even though we're both B positives, we can't eat the same foods on everything. Our list would be a little bit different. So when you get Swami, this is probably too deep for some people, it will spit out like a whole list of foods that are super beneficial, foods that are neutral, so they shouldn't affect you positively or negatively or your cells. And then there's like best avoided. You should not eat these. They will cause your cells damage and harm, kind of thing. So yeah, it's quite interesting. So I've redone my Swami a few different times. You have it basically for the rest of your life, and it's a computer program, and you can always enter in some new things. I haven't done the 23andMe yet or any other type of genetic testing yet, but I would like to in the future at some point, because then that would help maybe figure this out a little bit better. But like, okay, so here is, I'm trying to go to which one's a short list. Well, here's a short list of here just vegetable proteins. So it tells me, here's my super beneficial foods. Yep, time for patties. They should be out there. Oh, there's one in the wrapper. So the superfoods that would be most beneficial as a vegetable protein are almond butter, almond cheese, almonds, Brazil nuts, carob, chestnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, hickory nuts, navy beans. I don't do well with beans. I don't do well with peas. Tamarind bean, which I don't like that. Walnuts, watermelon seeds, and white beans again, which I don't do good with lentils. And then the neutrals are like beech nuts, butternuts, lychee nuts, lotus root, pumpkin seeds, sesame flour, sunflower seeds. And then there's like a whole bunch of avoids. And then if it has a black dot next to it, it's like you don't want to eat it because it causes you some harm and stuff like that. Like nuts are not good for me. Should be over here.
You said leftover veggies there, or?
I was going to. Did you want some? So that's just a quick example, I guess, of that. And then it goes into like a fish and seafood. It does eggs in rows. So, like caviar is a superfood, chicken eggs, duck eggs, but only the egg white. And so I can have egg white and the egg yolk of the chicken egg. I can have sailfish roe. Neutrals are herring roe and salmon roe. And then best avoided is carp, egg, the egg yolk, the duck egg yolk. I can't have that. I can't have goose egg or quail egg. And then for fish and seafood, that was that one. And then it does also live foods of your other. This was also a huge list of vegetables. So there's like tons that are good for me. These are neutral, and then these are avoided. But it says for carbohydrates, which is really weird. It says Jacob's Tears. I have no idea what that is. I'll have to look it up. Kudzu, larch fiber, malanga. I don't know what that is. Quinoa and taro. Now that's supposed to be my superfoods, and then I'm basically supposed to avoid all grain. I'm not supposed to have really any grain at all. So I'm mostly just supposed to have like meat, fish, veggies, and eggs, and some dairy. Here's like it'll do a list of your fats and oils. It does one of your dairy. You can do it to gain weight, to gain muscle, to lose weight. This one I had printed out to help me lose some weight because I was trying keto and I gained all kinds of weight on keto because it did not work for me. Because most of that I was supposed to avoid. So, and it'll do your spices, condiments. Now, it doesn't list coconut sugar, which is weird to me. So I don't know how that really plays a role into this because I'm not supposed to have coconut milk or coconut meat. But I didn't know about the coconut sugar. So I can have agave syrup, baking soda, fruit pectin, honey, sea salt, and nutritional yeast. Baker's yeast. I'm not sure what Marmite is. I forget what that is, but that's supposed to be okay too. But basically, I'm supposed to avoid stevia. If you're B blood type, you might need to check your list to see if you can have stevia. It lists your fruits and then your meats. Really short list on meat as far as I can have beef, bone soup, beef liver, buffalo, bison, calf liver, goat, kangaroo, lamb, moose, mutton, rabbit, veal, and venison. Beef tongue, caribou, marrow, and opossum are neutrals. I'm never going to probably eat an opossum. And best avoided is like bear, beef heart, ham, horse, pork and bacon, squirrel, which I don't plan on eating any kind of squirrels anytime soon, and sweetbreads. So bacon I love bacon, so I'm trying to just cut back on bacon. Poultry, as far as a B blood type, secretor status, and my genotyping. Ostrich is a superfood, goose liver, pheasant, and turkey. And I'm basically supposed to avoid all chicken, duck, Cornish hens, like guinea, quail. I'm just not much poultry. So mostly beef. That was interesting. So I will go deeper into details about this in another video because there's just way too much to talk about as far as a blood type diet, and it can get quite confusing, especially for a B blood type because so different from your A's and your O's. Your O's are more meat eaters, beef eaters. Your A's are more vegetarian eaters, and probably do better on a vegetarian, pescatarian diet. Chicken, well, really, if they don't want chicken, but chicken and fish are really good for A blood types. I know this because my daughter is an A blood type. Now, their dad was an A blood type. I ended up with a son who's an AB positive and a daughter who is an A positive. So she does best with like strawberries, spinach, chicken, salmon, things like that. And AB can have kind of a mix of everybody's stuff, and not too many things seem to bother them, which they have the best of all worlds, but they are very rare blood type. Now, B's should avoid chicken at all costs. If you're a B blood type, you should cut chicken out of your diet completely. It can cause a lot of nerve and neurological kind of damage. And I did not know that for a very long time. And I probably have more nerve damage to my body because we ate so much chicken for a really long time. My mom and dad just, we didn't have a ton of money. And, back in the 80s and all that, whatever, they were pushing chicken, chicken, chicken. And like, chicken's the best food. It's a healthy food, go low fat and low carb and, chicken. I felt horrible on chicken. Now, like an A blood type, if they eat meat, they feel horrible on meat. They feel sluggish. Their stomach gets upset. I eat chicken, I get sluggish. I feel upset. I feel angry. I feel really weird on chicken. It's not good. There I go. It's brownie time. I know it. So, bring you guys over here into the kitchen. Oh, it's looking so good. All right, we know they're done. Oh. I know they're done. They're just starting to crack, and that's okay. They'll settle back down and be super fudgy. But just for demonstration purposes, I've got my toothpicks, and you just want to poke it. It comes out clean and not sticking with batter. You know it's done. I feel like the brownies are more moist when you cook them in the silicone. And I had a little tray underneath just so it stayed flat and was easier to take in and out of the oven. Ooh, it's hot. I will pop one out to show you. Oh, okay. See, it needs to set up a little bit longer, but it's still delicious. Oh, I should have scooped it out with a fork. They really need to set up. So, basically, here's your brownie. It's super spongy. Ooh, delicious. You know what's good? That is scrumptious. All right. That's hot. I'll probably only just have one. Everybody else will probably eat all these and they'll be all gone. Delicious. So I hope you guys like this quick little video on how to make gluten-free brownies on your homestead. All the links will be down below. Give it a thumbs up, like it, share it, subscribe if you're new. I will be doing some more videos about what we do here on the homestead and things that we make to cook things healthy. You do not have to buy junk at the store. You guys can make fabulous snack foods for your family at home that are cost effective and more beneficial to your body than the store stuff, which is junk. Shop the outer aisles, and the inner aisles very few, and you will do all right. But recipes really do help you guys out. So I will have a link down below to the recipe in my shop, and that would be a great way to help support me and the channel, and that would be awesome. So you guys have a beautiful Sunday, and thanks for stopping here at Beccas By The Bay. Have a beautiful day and make yourself some brownies. They are so good. See you guys in the next video.